I'm so impressed in the way that I saw this video of Naledi Pandor, the former minister of foreign affairs in South Africa. This woman is so intelligent, so wise, so she's so powerful. This woman, I think that she deserves to be a, a South African leader. She deserve even to be a president in in South Africa, because that woman, the kind of knowledge that she have regarding the African soil, regarding the black people, uh, yeah, regarding the black people is so amazing. Just listen at this. Just listen at this. Listen at this, and then we will come back and speak again about it. She's so amazing, and she understood the thing properly as we supposed to as African to understand, because it's only in the togetherness that we will prosper. It's only when we will hold each other hand that we will prosper. But if we continue to fight each other, to go against each other, to attack each other, we will never go far. This woman impressed me. Trust me, she impressed me. I'm so impressed. It's so powerful the way that speech she made. And let me not talk too much. Let me make you listen to what she's saying here.
I'm not a professor. I'm a recently retired Minister of Foreign Affairs of South Africa. And so I'm going to speak in that guise. I wish to begin by saying that I am a revert to Islam. And the Islam I have been taught is one which is fighting fit. As Muslims, we do not submit to oppression. We fight it. This is how I have been taught. So I want to begin by saying that I think it's vital when we discuss global politics that we do not appropriate a sanitized view of the West. If you look at a lot of the world's problems, there's a common denominator related to the chaotic and complex problems that we experience today. And that common denominator is Europe and the United States of America. Now, it may very well be that we do need to examine ourselves because there are fault lines in ourselves, in our countries, in our leaders, in our organizations. But as we examine ourselves, let us also look at the undercurrent of the role of intelligence organizations, of those two factors in much of our problematique. It is in Southern Africa where we had the CIA supporting the emergence of UNITA in Angola to fight the liberation movements so that we in South Africa should not defeat apartheid. It was in Mozambique that again, intelligence organizations from outside Africa came into Mozambique, created, financed, armed Renamo, not to fight the Mozambican freedom fighters, but to fight us, because for them, South Africa was a white island of privilege that they wanted to preserve, and they would do everything to ensure that they preserve that. So you are dealing with a very, very complex, evil enemy. And we in the world, if we are to understand how we engage with humanity, we must not sanitize the level of harm the level of intention to cause you not to succeed. It's absolutely necessary that we understand that. Now, let me come to this interesting phrase that has been used very loosely in the past decade and much more in the past 5 years. And this is this expression of international rules-based order. We always ask the question, whose rules? Who's the referee? Because we understand that in global relations, the international rules are framed in terms of international law and international humanitarian law. There isn't a rules base like a referee match of soccer or rugby. So we need to be very careful. And this notion of rules-based has been developed for someone to be able to say, you are not following the rules when they disrespect international law. So we also, when we discuss global politics, should be wary of appropriating concepts that seek to reify the dominance of particular countries and make us believe that it is those countries that are the ones that would preserve order and the rest of us are merely there to follow. These are very problematic notions that we should not accept. So I agree with the colleagues that part of what we wish to achieve is to seek consensus, is to seek inclusion, is to seek a level of cooperation where all of us matter in this world. I would like, as my contribution today, to speak about the global South. Now, I know that we use the concept loosely because despite the notion that you are juxtaposing the South with the North, we don't have a coherent South, nor is there necessarily a coherent North. You can see, for example, the response of some of the Balkan states in Europe with respect to the Russia-Ukraine war. So there isn't a homogeneity of response. And similarly, when I refer to the global South, I do know that it is a concept that is not accepted by everyone, nor is it meant to create the notion that we are a homogeneous, coherent political force as countries of the South. But I do think it's a useful concept and one that we should use. So let me begin by coming back to Professor Fouaz's earlier comments this morning when he spoke about the current geopolitical environment being at an inflection point. And I absolutely agree with him on this. It's an inflection point that might lead to an emergent global set of relations that could be less hostile than those shaped by the powerful assertion of unipolarity that has been so dominant for over 70 years. Despite having a multilateral premier institution of the United Nations, essentially, unipolarity has been extremely dominant for several decades. And what we are all seeking an answer to is how do we create successfully a multipolar world? We believe that geopolitical contestation has been somewhat laid bare by at least 3 significant events in the past 2 decades. Firstly, the devastating economic crisis of 2007, which affected all our economies and confirmed the strong macro-financial limits of globalization. Second, the impact of COVID-19, which we often neglect to mention, and yet it had such an effect. And alongside that global impact of COVID-19, we recall the manner in which the developed, richer countries of the world failed to initially promote global pandemic response cooperation. I recall when we were responding to COVID-19 as South Africa and the African continent, we couldn't get anybody to sell vaccines to us because they said themselves first and then others later. So we failed with global pandemic response cooperation, and countries that are richer than us, that had developed the science, were quite comfortable to see many of us in the South die and would not provide us with the support we needed to combat this pandemic. Then I think thirdly, we have the devastation of the Russia-Ukraine war and its confirmation of the inadequacy of the United Nations, and particularly of the United Nations Security Council. Linked to this war is the onslaught of Israel against the people of Palestine and the failure of the global community to decisively intervene and stop this harm to Palestinians. A failure despite the existence of international law and international humanitarian law. Despite these frameworks that are designed and adopted by us, the nations of the world, to protect the innocent from harm, as the globe, we failed to assist Palestinians. So it is this confluence of events over a decade that has led to the problems we are speaking of today as we address global politics. So let me come to my country, South Africa. South Africa is a country that emerged from the devastation of apartheid, racism, and it emerged with the belief that it is the duty of leaders to seek peace for their people, for those that they lead. Out of the pain and ashes of apartheid, we have sought as South Africa to create a constitutional democracy that seeks to unite a once divided, diverse nation and to create what we aim for, which is a democratic, non-racial, non-sexist country in which human rights belong to all and human dignity is the cornerstone of our constitutional foundation. South Africa strongly believes in our common humanity and in the obligation of all persons to engage in struggle against injustice and to unite in international solidarity to fight oppression. Our leaders went all over the world asking you, your leaders, civil organizations, Islamic organizations, Christian organizations, saying there's this evil called apartheid that we are fighting. Could you join us in solidarity in an international anti-apartheid movement? And in country after country, the people, not the leaders, the people said, we will join. Whatever way we can help, we will help. Even Yasser Arafat, under conditions of oppression, said as the Palestinian Liberation Organization, they will assist us in whatever way they can. This is why today in international solidarity, we stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of Palestine. Because in our hour of need, they stood with us. And this is our understanding of international solidarity. And we believe we need this international solidarity as humanity in any instance where harm is brought to those who are oppressed. We really appeal to the world that just as they supported us when we were fighting for freedom, so must this global solidarity today, matched with positive values and ideals, be brought to bear urgently in order to assist the people of Palestine. The West European region and the United States of America are a powerful combination that the world has to engage with. However, the question we must answer for countries of the South is what should be the nature of our relationship and engagement with the West. There are several key points. Firstly, we believe that the South must collaborate consistently on addressing critical development priorities to end poverty, inequality, and joblessness. His Royal Highness, the Sultan, made reference to these issues this morning. Secondly, we believe countries of the South should not take a back seat on global challenges. They should be advancing openly for freedom from corruption and freedom from terrorism and all other ills on behalf of the Palestinian people and the people of Sahrawi who are also oppressed. Third, the South is the largest bloc in the United Nations, and yet it is the least powerful. The South countries should actively ensure reform of the United Nations system to make the UN Security Council more democratic and more effective. How can it be that only 15 countries believe they can assume responsibility for our peace and security, and 5 of that 15 can veto anything that doesn't address their interests? This is undemocratic, it's inefficient, and it has to be brought to an end, and it is us, the South, who must lead on that. Fourth, the South, particularly the countries of Africa, which hold the bulk of the mineral resources used for industrial and manufacturing processes, must move away from being resource rich and economically poor and learn to use their mineral resources to develop their economies. And it is if we cooperate as the South that we can ensure the industrialization of Africa and the development of a strong beneficiation and manufacturing base utilizing the rich wealth of mineral resources of Africa. In conclusion, I believe that this global moment offers the South an opportunity to lead in shaping a more consensus-driven, inclusive, development-oriented world in which the South has genuine influence. It can't be that we are consistently driven to vote for the richer countries, and we never put ourselves in a preeminent position of power. The time has come for us to utilize our numbers to good effect, and we also have to begin as the population of the various countries of the South. We need to begin to ask ourselves, what's wrong with the kind of leaders we put in office? And it is time, if they do not address what needs to be done, that we change the leaders and ensure that we put into office leaders who can shape for the South a post 2024 world. I thank you very much for your attention. Assalamu alaikum.
So when I hear her speaking, I could clearly hear the voice of the Burkina Faso president Ibrahim Traoré, the gentleman that have shown Africans how African is so great, how African can become so great on his own. Be careful because we own the world. That's one thing that we don't know. We own the world. The world belongs to us, and as African, we own the world, and we have everything that the world is fighting to get. We own it. So normally the world's supposed to work according to what we want, what we say, and not us working according to what they say, especially the West. Especially the West country, the North, West, and Europe, America, and some Asia countries. They're supposed to work according to what we say, not according to what they want. So this woman have said it all. I don't want to add anything on it. It's clear what she said. And I believe that as African, we need to wake up. Let's stop talking because we are talking too much, but we are not acting. We're talking so much, but we are not acting. Let's stop talking and let's start acting. That's what we need. We need to start acting and stop talking because we are talking too much. Everyone complain, everyone speak, everyone will say no, this we need to do that, we need to do that, but we don't wake up, we don't stand up and start doing it. How are you doing it on your own? It's just a simple civilian. What are you doing to make Africa great? Even when you are walking on the street, if you see a paper on the road and you take it and you throw in the bin, you are contributing already in cleaning the country and making the country beautiful. So there's always something, a little thing that you can do on your own. Start by being honest where you are working. Try to make the place to progress so that they can be able to get more employee and give more job to other people. Because when you are working and doing thing properly, you allow the owner to have to make more money and to increase and create more job. So start by there. And also because there you show the love that you have for your other African people or your country people who are in need of a job. It's very clear. So you start from there, from where you are working, start doing something. It's not something that you're waiting only for the government. You are waiting on the government to do everything. You too, you can start doing something on your own. You see when someone is messing on the road, you can make sure that the thing is safe. You call the law enforcement, they do what they have to do, and so we can fix our continent and we can fix our countries. We can make ourselves stop. What is killing us, the African, is that we think too much. We are so selfish. We think too much of ourselves that we don't think about the next generation. When you are building anything that you are building, build and think about the next generation. The reason why we have president that come and they don't do nothing, our country will just go down, continue to go down every day, going down. It's because they don't have a great mind. They think about themselves. He's fighting to be a president. He will say good speech, tell you what you want to hear, because he don't have a great mind for him to take and you know, he doesn't have that mind of developing. He don't have that mind of helping the people. The only thing he have in his mind is just to make you trust him, make you believe in him, so that he can use you to get the power. And once he's on the power, he's thinking only about his family. He's not thinking about the progress of the country. That's why you will see them putting minister that from their family, or because that minister supported him on the election, or and do this and that, and then they will acknowledge the person by giving him the position, but they don't check if you are qualified for the position or not. That's where our problem African is. Look at the West, look at look at Europe or America. When they are doing such a thing, when you see the president, before he put a minister on position, he have to check the background of that minister to know that okay, this one can deliver the job. And then he will take him and say okay, and he will ensure, he will make sure that the people know the background of that minister, so that when he come on power, what he prove, and if he's not competent, they will remove him and put somebody else. That's how it work with European and American. But in Africa, because you are my uncle, you're my cousin, you are my this, I cannot remove you. Why? Why did you at first took your uncle or your cousin or your brother or your village people to put on the position of authority in the country while they were not qualified? I'm not saying you can't do that, but they must be qualified for that position. That's what is killing Africa, and we have to wake up and start doing differently. Yes. So I thank you. If you haven't subscribed on my channel, please subscribe, because we will start doing this kind of video more often, and we need to speak about our continent. We need to set our continent free. We need to do something to take our continent out of this mess that we are inside, because we are in a deep mess. We are in the deep mess, and we have to go out of that deep mess. And we are counting, we are not hoping on somebody to come and tell us what to do, but we are hoping on ourselves, to start from our home, to start from our area where we stay, to start from the, yeah, let's say from the area where you stay, from your house already. Start doing something that will contribute to the good of the country. Start doing in your area something that will contribute to the good of your area. By doing so, you are helping already your government of building the country, making the country more better. Yeah. So let's do it. Let's start doing something that will help us. Let's stop blaming only politicians, but let's start also doing something. And that's how we will encourage even those politicians that are lying to us. We will encourage them by doing that, to start also thinking that hey, these people, they start waking up, they are doing this, they are doing that, and they will start doing also. So yes, please subscribe, like, share, so that we can be able to do more video, and speak more clearly. Because this one, I just wanted you to hear what this woman is saying, because it's very, very important for us as African. Thank you.